Woohoo! I'm back. I love it when technology works. So come on in here, everybody. Let's get this party started. It's the third day of the 3-day Get Wealthy Challenge. And come on in here because I want to first know who's in the room. So in the chat, let me give you a shout out. And I'm going to start that shout out by, if you've been here for 3 days, put the number 3 in the chat. If you've been, well, actually, if you've been here for all 4 days, the kickoff, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, if you've been here for 4 days, put 4. Wow. Okay, Paula, Leslie, LaShawn, all 4 days. Okay, in it to win it. Cynthia, who else has been here for, Cynthia says 3-4 days. Okay. If you've been here for at least 3 days of the 3-day Get Wealthy Challenge, let me give you a shout out. Put 3 in the chat. All right. I love this. Okay, Shalonda, LaShawn, Leslie, Dr. Shalonda, Dr. Z, y'all were here for 4. Pauline, wow, Cynthia 3, April 4. Tommy, 3.5. I love it. You were like, I heard Lashley last night. Brenda, 3. Charlene, 3. Robin, 3. Heather, 3. Lamerle, 3. Carla, 3. Woo! All right. Well, who's ready to go higher? That's what I want to know. If you're ready to go higher, with me, learn what secret number 3 is. Put higher in the chat. If you're ready to go higher, put higher in the chat. Because that's what we do. I tell you, I hope you feel like, especially over these past few days, I hope that your feeling is that you're sitting in the room where winners are made. And that certainly is that there's certainly evidence of that. I hope that you've seen that. So excellent. So let's see. Deborah's ready to go higher. Brenda's ready to go higher. Leslie's ready to go higher. Erica's ready to go higher. Claudia's ready to go higher. That's right. Because here's what I want you to know. If you're not growing, you're dying. Right? If you're not growing, if you're not moving ahead, and I know oftentimes what I feel is that we get stuck. And what happens when you get stuck, and it's happened to me, I can't tell you how many times. When I get stuck, it's because I don't know what my next step should be. Any of you feel that way too? Do you ever get stuck and you're stuck because you don't know what the next, move you should make? And here's the other thing. You're fearful that if you make the wrong move, that you could risk everything. Has anybody ever felt that way? Have you ever felt that way? That's right. And so as a result, we get paralyzed. And, that's what fear does. It really prevents us from moving forward because we begin to have self-doubt. And let me tell you, that self-doubt you can feed on that self-doubt. Would you agree? Like, you can be doubting yourself. And then what I want you to understand is that everything you focus on expands, right? Like, whatever you focus on expands. And if you begin to think, that self-doubt comes in, that fear, and then you start to think about all the things that went wrong. I want you guys to get this, okay? You begin to think about all the things that went wrong in the past when you were feeling this way. And so then what you do is you become defensive, okay? And that defensiveness really is what paralyzes you. Now, do you want me to give you the secret to overcoming fear and self-doubt? Anybody want to know what the secret is? Anybody want to know? If you want to know what the secret is, put yes in the chat. That's right. You know what the secret is? The secret is to have other people around you, right? to cheer you on, to acknowledge that it's okay to have self-doubt, but to be reminded of how they overcome, right? Like so how did you all feel hearing Ashley's story? And what I love about Ashley last night is she was unvarnished. She didn't take this story to say, oh yeah, I met Miss Deb and my whole life changed. Did she say that? Oh no, she says, yeah, I met Miss Deb and she told me what to do and I did a little bit of it and then I went away, right? And then I said, uh-oh, well, you know what? I think if I want more success, then I better go back over there again and see if I can get some more. And then she did a little bit more and then she said, I went away, right? And then she said, and then I came back. And one of the things I shared with the VIP group was that here's what's deep is every time Ashley came back, she came back at a higher level, right? So what I want you to know, and then she said something very important in there too. I'm just as intrigued as you guys are when our winners come on, because I don't know what they're going to say. I really don't. There's no script. Sometimes I give them some questions, where I'm going to go. And then I know what they do. They roll their eyes. Miss Deb going to ask whatever she want to ask. She may have gave us those questions, but she might take a left turn. And so, what I want you to know is that you do have everything you need to be everything that you need to be, but you can't do it on your own. That's all I want to tell you. It was a hard lesson for me that I thought if I worked hard enough, if I studied enough, if I did the right thing, that I wouldn't have to rely on anyone. And I certainly shared my story with you just about my mother separating from my father after 33 years of marriage and how that impacted my perspective on things. That first book, being a person of your own, and how important that was to me to have financial security. And what I would say, God really has a sense of humor, because we celebrated our 36th year of marriage this year. So is that something? And I say all of that to all of you, to don't let what happened in the past. Thank you. Don't let what happened in the past impact your future. Are y'all with me? Agree or disagree with me, guys? I didn't mean to get on my high horse this, but I want you to know that for so many of you, even when I invited you to come to join WealthyU, the fear of making a mistake. Okay, how many the fear of making a mistake and you thought, well, I don't know. How many of it was the fear of, well, I don't know if I can afford it. If that fear came up, put that in the chat, right? I need to get all this out on the table right now. I want you to understand all of your fears. That fear of, I tried that before and it didn't work. I joined somebody else's program. If that's your fear, put me, right? Paula says, that's right, I can't afford it. And Paula's been in WealthyU for some time. Oh, Carla, fear of making mistakes at an older age. Yes, you start to believe that you can't take those kind of risks, right? Tommy says, absolutely feared, I can't afford it, right? So I want you to turn that into a wealthy mindset, right? So keep putting the fears out there. So you have the earner, right? The middle class mindset. That's how we think. We think of everything as an expense. Okay. So I'm going to tell you how the wealthy think of it. So Paula says, can't afford it. And you know what the wealthy person says? I can't afford not to, because if I want something different, I got to do something different. fear of making mistakes at an older age. The wealthy mindset, and when you join this community, you're going to be able to turn these fears on their head. The fear of making mistakes at an older age is now I can recover from mistakes that I made at an older age because I have more experience, right? Again, to me, absolutely it feared I can't afford it. I want to turn that on its head, and I want to tell you that wealthy mindset, you cannot afford not to. Some for me can't afford and don't want to make a costly error. Okay, I want you to turn that on its head, and I want you to say that I can recover from anything, and I never lose. I either win or I learn. Absolutely scared to lose at my age. That's right. And Pauline Stout is in our highest level program and made a huge investment right now. And what you're going to hear are some other winners tonight, just like Ashley. And what you're going to learn is they were sitting right where you were, and they had those same concerns and fears. And since they've been in WealthyU, I'm gonna let them tell their own story, because history, I believe in proof, and I believe in receipts. And what I want to tell most of you with it who've been hanging with us. So we got 72 people. We got up to about 100 over the past 3 days. What I want you to know is you are not here by mistake. Many of you the fact that you responded to this challenge and you've been hanging with us for 3 or 4 days lets me know that you are in the right place, that I am speaking to you. I created this for you, but the one thing I cannot do is I cannot make you do it. I can give you evidence over and over and over of what the possibilities are. And I can give you proof of other people that applied it. But if you remain in that middle class poverty mindset, absolutely nothing will change. Agree or disagree with me? Like, I want you guys to understand, I had to learn a very hard lesson. And for 10 years in building this business, I appealed to your logic. I said, well, surely if I could just teach these people what the wealthy people do and how to analyze and research stocks and how to do all of these things and why they're ahead and why we're not, if I just show them how they do it, it's a wrap. Listen, I'm on my Facebook where I've shown, I've written, I've explained, but nothing changed until I realized, oh, it has less to do with logic and more to do with your fears and emotions. Listen, you know who your biggest critic is? You know who your biggest obstacle is? Leslie said, you. That's right. You look in the mirror out of them every morning and you talk yourself out of everything. Okay? Am I for real? For real? Do I know y'all? Okay? How do I know you? Because I am you. Okay? Like, I want you to know I am you. And it is not until I was able to look myself in the face and declare that I wanted something different and left my hometown of Detroit, did not look back. My husband quit his job, followed me to San Francisco with a 2-year-old little boy, quit his job. We go to San Francisco. I take a risk with an investment company. I have a fast trajectory over 10 years. I made branch manager, vice president, opened the prototype center for Fidelity in DC, ran the West Coast, all of that. Now, what I want you to know is that I had to leave that old identity behind. Are y'all with me? I had to leave that old identity behind. That girl that grew up in the hood, I had to leave her behind, and I had to take on a different mindset. And that mindset required me to believe that I had everything I needed to be everything that I needed to be, but I needed to surround myself with other people who could support this. If you can understand this, put yes in the chat. And those advocates and those sponsors over the years saw my passion, saw my hard work, saw my work ethic, saw my tenacity, and they opened doors for me. That's what I want you to know. And I ran through those doors and I learned everything that I needed to know. And once I got that insight, that knowledge, and those secrets, I decided to walk away from a very lucrative career because I saw that the information that we were given was a whole different blueprint from what they had. Did you guys, I want you to understand this path that I have taken, because it has not been easy, but it's worth it, right? It's worth it. And I want you to know that you're worth it. And that everything you seek, everything you've been wanting to learn, everything that you wish you had known, we have it right here in WealthyU. We have honed it, we have perfected it, we continue to innovate, we continue to invest. And what I'm most proud of is the results. And so tonight, what I'm going to be sharing with you, I'm going to bring two more of our winners on tonight to share their experiences with WealthyU. But first, let me get through some housekeeping. So, the rules of engagement. Turn on those cameras, people. I need to see you because you give me energy. I don't care how you look. I don't care if you don't have on any makeup. It really makes no difference to me. But I know that if you connect, if you lean in, right? If you lean in, okay, if you lean in and engage, all of everything we have in this virtual world, that you're going to be able to get more out of it. I must tell you, the amount of time and investment that we make to be able to deliver this challenge to you and provide you with insightful content is significant. So thank you for opening your cameras. So I want you to be interactive, camera on. I want you to be transparent. If you've got a question, put it in the chat. Don't be fearful. I want you to ask questions. And most of all, I want you to really look at these past 3 days from this lens and perspective. And that is, if I apply one thing, which one thing I learned would make the most impact if I actually applied it? That's the lens I want you to think of. And, I love it. I see folks taking notes, because note takers are money makers. That's one of the things one of my coaches always said. Then the other thing you can see, we have fun at WealthyU. Even when we tired, I was talking to the team. I was like, man, y'all look like me. I feel pretty good. Y'all didn't talk to as many people as I have. I'm feeling pretty good right about now. And they just, they kind of roll by their eyes. But you know what? What I'm also proud of is, listen, I don't ask them to do anything I wouldn't do. And so I hope from the team perspective that they agree with that, and know it is all out of concern and for you all doing more. And, some of you are going to join tonight and you're going to take off and you are going to become the stories that we talk about. Again, our fabulous ambassadors are here tonight. Anita Jenkins, Sharice Irons, Virginia Rutherford Hall. They were sitting right here where you are, and they said they got all of those doubts and fears, and they went into our programs, and they want you to have the same experience. So I really want to encourage all of you to, if you have any questions about our program, I'm going to go again over our flagship program, the Legacy Wealth Builder, but know that we have programs to meet you where you are. And one of the ways we determine that is through our WealthyU assessment. So if you click on that link, you would know who your ambassador is. It will allow you to choose them. And then one of the other things I want to say, if you still want to take advantage of the Wealth Secrets VIP bundle, where you get access to tools that are typically only reserved for our members, we are giving you an amazing value, a Wealth Acceleration Secrets Masterclass, a Wealth Ignition session, Wealth Secrets autograph book, Wealth Secrets audio book, Wealth Secrets ebook, about $600 worth of value for $47. That's because we want to also sow a seed into you. But I believe everybody on my team knows, I absolutely believe you have to have some skin in the game. Now, why do you think I believe that? Here's what I know to be true is when you pay attention, right? So how many of you who have been in courses, who have been in programs and never showed up for one of them? If that's you, put yes in the chat. I'm talking to myself, you know what I mean? Because I'll see something on the internet streets and I'll like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I'll buy it and I won't look at even one video or download. If that's you, put yes in the chat. So what I want you to understand, though, is something that I had to learn. I had to learn this, right? Because when I first got in business, man, I was going to all that free stuff, SBA, to this, that, getting advice from people. Now here's what's deep. I'm getting advice from people who haven't even started a business, had a successful business. They reading the same book I am. Now, was that ridiculous? Okay. So how successful do you think I was in the beginning? After about 4 or 5 years, my husband said to me, he was like, listen, Deb, you left a very lucrative position. If this is a hobby for you, then I think you might want to go back into, the corporate world. And rather than do that, I began to invest. I began to invest in coaches. I began to invest in programs. I began to invest in building an infrastructure. I began to invest in building courses and curriculum. I began to invest in team. I began to invest. And so the most important thing I want all of you to understand is this. If you learn nothing else from me over these 3 days, is that you have to invest at the level of the results that you want. Do you understand? Like, if you want to get to 7 figures, it ain't going to happen with $7. I can assure you of that. I was talking to the team, and some of you had said you had been in some other programs, and many people on my team have done other programs as well, right? And they were like, yeah, Miss Deb, I'm sorry. They may have been in some other programs, but in our programs, they'll never get what they get here because we give so much. So with that, I want to get into, you guys had some homework. Well, let me just go over the agenda very briefly. So wealth secret number 3 was mindset. And that's when I talked about make the shift from an earner to an owner mindset, that you don't invest in you buy the things, but you're afraid to invest in the things. How many of you in the chat, if that was a revelation for you, put yes in the chat. And then last night I talked about strategy. I talked about the middle class investment strategies that are sabotaging your opportunities for financial growth because we are too busy trying not to lose that we cannot win. We pick all of the things somebody tell us, oh, we're not going to lose no money. We're not going to lose no money. What we really don't understand is that we're not going to gain either. And so tonight, what we're going to click on is wealth secret number 3. I just shared with you the fact that I went inside and I got into rooms and I saw that other folks have a different blueprint. And so one of the things I want to share with you are wealth secret number 3 is the investment opportunity levers that the very wealthy use, which is why they're able to grow faster, grow their money faster, and keep more of it. Who's ready to learn wealth secret number 3? If you're ready to learn wealth secret number 3, put me in the chat, right? Okay. So last night though, I must reflect on, I gave you guys homework. This is like in, all I'm gonna tell you, in WealthyU, we do the work, right? Like it'll work if you work it, but you need to have some insight and knowledge. So one of the things I asked all of you to do was to go look at your investment accounts and find out what your personal rates of return were. You know, in our VIP session, one of our members, Diane, I knew her kind of how her framework and where she was invested because she had been in WealthyU before and we had allocated some of her investments. And so she had a Fidelity account. Fidelity is very transparent about their performance, right? About showing you what your personal rate of return was. So in the chat, how many of you did the homework? If you did the homework, put yes. But more importantly, if you have a question about that homework, if you were surprised by what you found, or even if you weren't able to find it, put your hand up in the chat, your reactions. I'd love to hear from someone and who actually did the homework and what they learned. So Deborah said, yes, but I could not find it. I'm not surprised. The other reason I wanted you guys to do that exercise is because a lot of these companies make it very difficult for you to see how those investments are actually performing. I want to give you a little tip though, right? Okay. Wow. Dr. Shalonda said could not find. Let's see. Did anybody find what their personal rate of return? If you did, put yeah. If you found out what your personal rate of return was, put okay, great. Leslie, excellent. What did you find out, Leslie? What was your personal rate of return?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It was very low. It was 0.41%.
What was that, Fred Sanford? I'm going way back, y'all. Elizabeth. Watch the old TV1. I'm coming to meet you.
I must have left my
Leslie, what do you think the significance of that 0.4% return is?
I'm losing money. I'm not making any money, and they just threw me in the lowest thing that they could find. They didn't care.
That's it. All right. So Leslie, we got to make some changes. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So here's the other thing I want you guys to understand about overall return. Okay, what all of you need to understand that you need to begin to look at every decision based on a return on investment, not expense. Right? So I want you to understand that the middle class mindset thinks of everything as an expense. And we're told, well, you know, if you just budget, if you just watch everything and, you know, you save your dollars, you're going to be fine. But the wealth mindset looks at return on investment. So if I were to tell you to invest $5,000 and then your investment was $50,000 as Ashley shared, was that a good return on investment? In the chat, yes or no? Was that a good return on investment? Marion said my return was 7.9%. Okay. Was that a good return on investment? So I need you to understand that I have invested $30,000 in in coaching and expertise. And the first thing I think about is, what is the one thing I need to do to make my money back? Like if I can break even on something, I'm ahead. Do you guys know why? If I invest something and I break even on it and I execute on a plan and it gives me a return on 30,000, just $30,000, I'm zero. Why do you guys think I'm ahead? Anybody want to guess? Why am I ahead? Depends on how long, right? I have the knowledge. That's it. I have the knowledge, so I can run that back. You know how we say we can run that back. I can run that play again. So that $30,000 that I get back and it works, then I can run that back. If I run that back 10 times, how much do I have? I got $300,000. Are y'all with me? So that's what I mean by you never lose, you either win or you learn. But I'm going to tell you, that was a major shift for me. I can remember being in this room and my husband, thank you, Lord, for my husband, y'all. That's all I'm going to say. Because he went to this conference with me and I loved everything he was selling, I was buying. And when that man said 30,000 to get in his program, I lost my voice, y'all. I was like, I think I need some water. I gotta go get me some water. And my husband, I came back, my husband said, write the check. I was like, what? Virginia laughing. She know. She know. And he was like, I'm so tired of you running around here. And that's exactly what you need, right? I never look back. Now, what I want you to know, what's interesting, is every year I have to make that same investment for that same coach. And I have made it, I'm on year 8. Are y'all with me? And I've invested in other coaches. And so the only reason I tell you that is I am you. And if you want more, you got to invest at the level of the results that you want. And you've got to be able to be in the right rooms. You've got to be willing to write a check for speed. Now, some of y'all just out of time. Now, that's all I'm going to say. All right. I told you we have fun. So, oh my goodness, that was so fun. That was so funny. I had to think about being in that room again. My husband said, write the check. Y'all really don't understand. So at any rate, have you having fun with me? Put yes, you're like, this woman kind of crazy. I don't know about her. She said that you need to come in this program. I don't know. Okay. So let me get to Wealth Secrets. No. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm about to change the game. All right. Listen. How many of you want to hear? You heard from Ashley, but how many of you want to hear from some WealthyU winners, right? Do you want to hear from somebody just like you who was sitting in a challenge and, might have came back and sat in another challenge, might have sat, no, I'm just playing with them, but at any rate, what I'd like to do now is something that I love to do most. And I love to interview the members in our program so that they can, one of the things I ask, now for many of you who come into this program, and remember the fast track bonus is still available, where you get that bonus and you get that strategy session with me. But one of the things I ask you, even in your onboarding, is listen, there's going to come a time when you're going to have a transformation and you're going to have results. And I'm going to ask you to share that with other people. And, you know, initially, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Right? Then they don't think I'm going to ask them. And then I do. And they'll be like, do I have amnesia of some kind? That's not true. What I am most grateful for is when I ask members in WealthyU to share their journey, they're willing to do so. And so I have two winners who are going to come on the stage with me today. And I am going to ask Latasha Watley to come on with me. Latasha, thanks so much for agreeing to come on and chat with me today. I am
Absolutely.
in myself. So, Latasha, another fine mess I've gotten you into, but
Always.
anyway, Latasha, just share just a little bit about yourself, Latasha.
Sure. My name is Latasha Watley. And I am like most of you. I did what I was taught in the middle class. I went to school, got a degree, got an advanced degree, made sure I was increasing my income and saving. As far as industry, I work in the tech industry, high tech. So when you look, if you've heard of the FANG stocks or the magnificent stocks, I have worked for 3 out of the 7 magnificent sevens over the course of my career.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
And how did you find WealthyU?
Ms. Deb, I still don't remember how I found WealthyU. I do remember it was around probably 2019, maybe 2020. And I had just gotten to a point where I decided after working for all of those magnificent 7 companies, I needed to retire sooner. I was starting to burn out. So either retire sooner or go find something that was much less stressful to do, maybe didn't pay as much money. But in order for me to do that, I needed to get the money that I had already saved working for me. And I really didn't know how to do that.
And so the question I have for you is, next is, so what made you join WealthyU? Were you in a challenge like this or what happened?
I did. So I think I listened to one of the challenges in maybe 2021-ish. I think it's about May 2021. And so I lurked around for a couple of years and came to another challenge in May of 2023.
Wow.
And I was assigned an ambassador, Miss Virginia. And we had an onboarding call. And we talked and I was like, maybe, I'm not sure. I think I'm in a little bit different place. She said, that's okay. I'm gonna have Miss Deb call you. And I was like, yeah, okay. I think it was the same day I had a message from you saying, are you available for a call? And we talked about the investment. And I said, let me sleep on it. And the next morning, I remember I got up and I sent you a text and I said, all right, I'm clicking the button.
Excellent. Okay, so you have not been in WealthyU for even a year yet.
No.
And you came in our Legacy Wealth Accelerator program. And since coming into WealthyU, like what is your experience been? Like, let's talk about what you learned and how you've applied it.
Yeah. So I had gone through like some other coaching programs like you talked about and listened to advisors. And what I was finding from them is what they were wanting me to do is invest in various programs where they were managing my money, and it wasn't making that great a return. But I was asking questions, but what they weren't doing was they weren't giving me the information that I needed to do it myself. So when I came over into WealthyU, the difference is that you actually gave me a framework that I could action and build on. And that's great for me because, as you picked up on really quickly in one of our conversations, is that by nature, I'm an analyst. I will analyze and analyze and analyze, and I'll throw it in a spreadsheet and I might make some graphs. And as long as I could take the action myself and learn how to do it, I was ready to roll. And you gave me this organization gave me the framework to do that.
Now, since being in WealthyU,
Mhm.
what would you say about the results that you had prior to and the results that you had since you've been in WealthyU?
There's a significant difference in the results. We looked at my rate of return yesterday in our advisory call. And from February 2023 to February 2024, my rate of return is almost 40%.
Now, here's what's crazy though, is that when you said that to me, I was like, are you serious? Okay. But I'm interested,
Mhm.
prior to that, what were the types of returns that you had just based on, where your investments had been prior to?
I know that I remember we looked at them when I first started and they were below whatever the S&P, whatever the index was returning, it was below the index. So the index was right at 16%. So whatever my returns were below that. So it had to be in somewhere the single digits to maybe around 10%.
And then, the question I have for you, Latasha, because you are very analytical, right? And that can be a double-edged sword sometimes, right? Like you can
Yes.
analyze, what do they call it?
Analysis paralysis.
Right? I am interested to know how being in the WealthyU group with other women, how has that influenced your ability to be, to have really taken ownership of your investments? And now I must tell everybody, she's actually facilitating, talk about analysis, she's actually facilitating one of our skill building workshops for mutual funds. How has being in the group impacted you overall as it relates to your investments?
It's great because you are in a group. The other thing that I wasn't getting from those other programs was I needed to be around people that looked like me and talked like me. But being in the groups with all the various women, like I see Claudia's on the line, and Claudia's always talking about real estate. She just invested in some real estate not too long ago. I talked to Roxanne about closed-ended fund versus open-ended fund. So it's being able to have a conversation with people that are speaking the same language that you are and are on the same journey that you are. We're all trying to achieve the same thing.
I love that, Latasha. And then finally, if you were to think about the one aspect of this program that has made the most impact for you, what would you say it has been?
The biggest impact has been probably the sessions on tax advantage strategies with Uncle Sam has been eating me alive. And I can now see that, and I can start closing some of those gaps where maybe he might eat a little bit of breakfast or a snack, but not my entire dinner.
I love that. I love that. And lastly, if someone is here and they're pondering whether they should join WealthyU, what would you say to them?
Just do it. Do it, do it, do it. like I said, I lurked around for a couple of years. And then I finally just, I decided it's like Miss Deb said, you either lose or you learn. So I'm learning, and 40%, almost 40% returns doesn't lie.
Okay, not a bad investment. Talk about return on investment.
Nope.
Oh, Latasha, thank you so much for sharing. Let's give our winner, Latasha Watley, a hand. Give her some love in the chat. Fantastic, but guess what? There is more. There is more. So next, I want to bring to the stage, what was your takeaway? In the chat, I'd love to hear what your takeaway was from that conversation. Hang on, I am going to, okay, here we go. I'm going to remove your pin. Who's ready to hear from another winner? Are our winners awesome? Who's ready? If you're ready, put yes in the chat. So next, I am excited to have join me is, and it's so interesting that Latasha mentioned her, and I want to welcome Claudia to the stage. Claudia, thanks so much for agreeing to come on and chat with us tonight. So Claudia, you're unmuted. Welcome. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Come on.
Fantastic. So Claudia, tell us, how did you find WealthyU?
I actually found WealthyU through another program called Naturalicious. So I was actually taking a hair challenge, and with Naturalicious, she'll bring on some guest speakers to not only take care of our hair, but also our financial mindset growth. And Deb came in and did a talk for us. I think it did like maybe a 3-day, just like this challenge, this mini challenge that we are in right now. And I actually took the challenge with you, and you gave us some homework.
Yeah,
And
I love giving homework.
it gave us homework. I did my homework, and it was on our rate of return, funny enough, of our 401k or stocks that we invested in. And when I looked at my rate of return and my plans for retirement, I've noticed that it would take me another maybe 60 more years before I'll be able to retire. And I was like, oh no, I got to make a change.
That's excellent. And so, you know, what I remember about you, Claudia, was you came into our what was then WealthyU Society program, that's Legacy Wealth Builder. And what made you want to level up in WealthyU?
Oh, what made me want to level up is we did analyze my investments. We analyzed my 401k, and I literally noticed a transformation on my portfolio within, like, I would say 6 months, by keeping not like changing things around that weren't making the rate of returns to something that was give me a rate of return from 10% or higher. And you could literally see the chart going up. And I was like, wait a second. If this is what I'm getting at this level, how high can I go if I go to the next level? And I'm like, all right, then let's go. What else can I do?
Let's go. I tell people, invest at the level of the results that you want.
Yep.
And so, Claudia, I'm interested to know, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, before you started WealthyU, when it came to investment knowledge, where would you put yourself? 1 to 10, where were you?
Maybe a 1. Literally, a 1. I had no idea. You know how I picked my stocks back then? Somebody said, oh, this is a good stock to go into. And I'm like, oh, really? Let me buy some. Or somebody says, well, this one's a good one. Let me buy it. Had no clue on how to analyze a stock. If it was a good stock, it's just somebody in the chat saying that, oh, this is going to be a winner. And I'm like, you know what? Let me try it. Completely different way of analyzing my stocks and my mutual funds and why I decide now to purchase. I mean, just like everyone says you teach us not only how to look and analyze, but why you're picking that particular stock. You know, from A to Z, why it would be a good investment to pick that individual, mutual fund or stock.
You say to someone, so I know, like, often people say, well, yeah, that's working for them, but how much time do they spend? I don't have all that time. How complex is it? So I'm going to go back to the original question. You said you are at a 1 on a 1 to scale of 1 to 10. What do you feel like you're at now?
Oh, definitely about like an 8 or 9, if not almost, yeah, definitely an 8 or 9. I will look at, and it doesn't take that long. I mean, I took, like, for the mutual fund class, I think I took maybe 3 or 4 of those classes, and they are the folks like that teaches the class. They are so patient. You can ask as many questions as you want. They'll go back over it 500 times if they need to. You will get it. If you lean in and you take the classes, I'm still taking the classes. And I told you, I feel like I'm at an 8 or 9. But every single time I take one of these challenges, you learn something else because somebody asks another question. And that's why I always listen in on the classes. Even these challenges like this, I attend every single one because every time I attend something, I get something else. I'm like, oh, I don't remember that. And there you go. It's another.
It is interesting. And I was sharing with folks on the challenge the fact that our members have been through probably 6, 7, 8, 9 challenges, and they're still here and they're still here supporting. And then finally, Claudia, what do you think has been the biggest impact on you around your view of the financial world, like your role in it?
And it's just like you always say, you're either an earner or you're an owner. And changing your mindsets from becoming like a worker bee, an earner, you're earning a paycheck, living from paycheck to paycheck, to becoming an earner. And that's where I finally took the shift, and I'm moving to. I want to leave the 9 to 5. I want to be able to say, this is what I want to do, make my own pathway. And WealthyU is actually paving the pathway for me to do that.
That's good. That's good. I said that was the last question, but the final question I have for you is, if someone is on here and they're filled with doubt, you went through that challenge with me, and what made you join? That's the question I want to ask you.
What made me join is the sisterhood that we get, the collaboration. I mean, it's just like everybody says, you have a question, somebody's always there to help you. I mean, you're with my people that have the same mindset and the same goals as you. You're not the smartest one in the room, so that means you're always going to elevate, because there's always somebody that's going to teach you something new instead of you always teaching someone something. And that's something somebody always told me. Always want to be able to be in a room with some folks that are smarter than you so they can bring you up. And from everybody that's in the group, you're always learning something new. And just lean in and listen in, and if you lean in and take the classes, you'll score.
I love it. Let's give Claudia a hand. Claudia, thanks so much for coming.
Great job. Great
on tonight. That's great. Let's give her a hand. Love hearing from our winners. People often ask me, like, well, I don't know, you're like the energized bunny, you're here, you're there, you're doing all these workshops, blah, blah, blah. And what I want to say is, imagine you can wake up and you can have a conversation with someone like Latasha, and you're reviewing their thing is, Miss Deb, you're just not going to believe this. You told us so the same thing I tell you in this challenge is the same thing they have to do, that you have to learn how to understand your personal rate of return, because that is where the money is. Are y'all with me? This is about results. This is about you investing at the level of the results that you want. And so in order to do that, you need to understand how to mind your money. You cannot delegate that to anyone. So in the chat, I want to hear some takeaways. So you just heard from Latasha and you just heard from Claudia. What were your takeaways? I want to see if you were engaged in listening. Tommy says, jump. That's absolutely right. You know what? I didn't realize, Latasha, that you had been 2 years before you. Honey, you know, I missed it. I needed to ask you. Now, Miss Latasha, what if you had joined 2 years later? But I didn't do that, right? I didn't
That's
want.
why I didn't tell you.
That's why. That's why you didn't tell me. That's funny. That's right. So let me just read some of these. Community is everything, Tracy. Absolutely. Now, you know, I love that Tracy's here because Tracy was one of my first private coaching clients. So crazy. And, you know, one of the things we do in the community was we'll reach out to you and we'll say, hey, you're an alum. Listen, here's an opportunity to get back in. And, you know, I'm so grateful that Tracy recently rejoined WealthyU. Autumn says you have to be responsible for your outcomes. You're absolutely right, Autumn. Your ears must be ringing because I was talking with you about you with one of my good girlfriends, and she says you are making stuff happen, as I knew you would. All right, guys, so let me get right back to the third day of our Get Wealthy Challenge. So who's ready to for me to talk about secret number 3? And by the way, all of the concepts that you've been exposed to during this 3-day Get Wealthy Challenge are in my most recent book, Wealth Secrets, where I really share what I'm most proud about that book, and now our curriculum, and now the courses, the curriculum that you go through in WealthyU, is that those are real stories of women who actually applied the secrets and had their transformations. So I want to talk. So let's talk about wealth secret number 3, right? So hang on. Wealth secret number 3. Your wealth acceleration levers. Now, you know, earlier in the VIP, I was talking about the fact that your opportunity levers or acceleration levers are different. They're different for everyone. But what I want you to understand is that the wealthy deploy a lot of different strategies that we're not exposed to. And so just for contrast, I want to talk about secret number 2. Yesterday, I was talking about playing not to lose. And so you had certificates of deposits, life insurance. These are all the things that we invest in, right? And so as a result, if you look at your target date funds, those types of investments, typically the returns are much lower, okay? But here's the secret that I learned when I went into the high net worth. I was like, these people are playing like 3-dimensional chess, and we're over here playing checkers. So what I want you to understand that for many of you, in order for you to go to the next level, one of the things you heard Latasha talk about was, man, I had to get Uncle Sam out of my pocket. And so what you need to do is you need to begin to take advantage of all of these opportunities, typically that are hidden in plain sight. Most of you have these benefits through your employer, whether they're 401ks, HSAs, FSAs. Sometimes you have defined benefit plans that allow you to put more even in your 401k. But because you haven't been exposed to it, you don't even understand what's available to you. Next level. In many companies, if you're with a public company, you have employee stock purchase programs, which allow you to invest in their stock for 10% less. So you're already getting a return. Some of you have an opportunity to get employee stock option programs, and you're not taking advantage of it. Some of you have tuition reimbursement. You're leaving a lot of money on the table. If you want to have a wealth mindset, you have to take advantage of all of that. Now, the other interesting thing that the wealthy do is they understand how you do a backdoor IRA. Oftentimes we say a backdoor Roth, oh, I make too much money to make a Roth, but do you know there's a way that you can convert from a regular IRA, and in some cases, even your rollovers. Now, in that conversion, you're going to pay some kind of taxes, but then when you make that conversion, that money begins to grow, and it can grow, and you take it out tax-free. Now, here's one of the most important aspects of that the wealthy use, and because of our tax laws are such in that when you invest in stocks, when you invest in stocks that pay dividends, you pay lower taxes. And then next level up from that really is estate planning. And so what I want you to understand is that all of you have all of these opportunities. Well, not all of them, but literally your opportunity to really accelerate your financial growth is a function of you identifying which of these strategies, if you deploy them, are going to make the greatest impact. But the reason you don't have the ability to do that is you don't even understand what you're looking at. And guess what? Many of the people administering these plans that you're calling on the phone, they don't know either. And so what I want all of you to know is that what I learned from being in that world is that the only thing that they have is someone to explain this to them. Are you with me? What I want you to know is the strategies that the wealthy know, that knowledge is inherited. You know, typically they're a family member or either they have enough assets where they're called high net worth, so they get access to private bankers, and those are the private bankers I was talking about that have the glass window offices, right? And so you can deploy these same strategies. You can keep more of what you earn, you can grow it faster, but you've got to get access to this knowledge. And that's exactly what you get in WealthyU. So last night, I invited you to join WealthyU. And I'm going to make that invitation again, but I found an interview from one of our members that I think is so relevant for right now. So for right now, I want you to look at this tape.
The more you're surrounded by these women, you're learning, and then you're implementing it into your own life. You're going to be exposed to things that you generally wouldn't be exposed to. Don't use the excuse you don't have, the finances. We can find the money. We all do. Let your child ask for something tomorrow. You're going to find a way. And one nugget I took was when someone in the program said, consider it an investment in yourself.
Greater words were never spoken. And so that's what I want you to know. Who will allow me to invite them once again to join WealthyU? If you want me to invite you and to share with you exactly how the women like Latasha, like Claudia, like Tashima, like Ashley. So what think about, these women could not be more different in terms of their age, their occupation, but what they all had in common, you know what they all had in common? And this is what we all have in common. And this is what I want all of you to know. You got the wrong blueprint, right? And so your ladder literally is leaning on a wall, and it's leaning on the wrong wall. And that's why you can't get where you want to go. So I'm going to ask your permission. Can I share with you how you can become one of the winners, right? And one of the winners means that you want it, I am responsible. And I mean, I couldn't write this script. What did Tashima say? No excuses. That's winners. Now, I want to congratulate Antoinette May for taking advantage of that fast track program, the first one to join. And so I want to make sure that you're not like the others. How long had Ashley been in the program and leveled up? You know, what Ashley told you was, I was working. I was like, I knew I need to figure this out and I couldn't do it on my own. And Ashley has been with me for over 10 years. And every time she invests at a higher level, right? So what I want you all to understand is I need you to make the shift. And that shift is that you begin to make your decisions based on the return on investment. If you make that investment, is it going to return more? And I think in all of the examples that we saw tonight, that's exactly what all of them has happened to all of them, that they have more than sometimes 10 times or 20 times the investment that they made in WealthyU. And so as I shared with you, we have levels to WealthyU. And again, how many of you are running for your first 6 figures? If you're running for your first 6 figures, put 6 figures in the chat. I just want to see who we have in the room. If you're running for your first 6 figures, if you haven't accumulated 6 figures, put 6 figures in the chat. Excellent. Keep going. Keep going. 6 figures, 6 figures. For that program, typically it's going to be between our Legacy Wealth Intensive or our Legacy Wealth Builder. Now, I'm just going to be frank with y'all. Most of y'all need to be running for your first 7 figures because that is exactly what you're going to need in order to live the sort of life that you become accustomed to. So some of you are making 6 figures, but you haven't accumulated 7 figures. And if you're making 6 figures, you got to run for that 7 figures, right? Now, our Legacy Wealth Builder, that is where the rubber meets the road. And then once you really got your framework, you had Claudia talking about it. She said, I knew if I could get these kind of results with Legacy Wealth Builder, it's time for me to level up and go to 7 figures and beyond. And so let me just share with you our Legacy Wealth Builder program, how that happens. So how many of you are running for 7 figures? If you're running for 7 figures, now, so if you're already at 6 figures, you need to be running for 7 figures, right? And the ability to get to 7 figures is going to directly correlate to your ability to have your money work harder, okay? Now listen. One of the rules that I gave last night was that for every $40,000 in income you needed to have at least $1 million. Now, if you are making $100,000 right now, then that means using that 4% rule that you're going to need to get to about 2.5 million. Now, mind you, some of you might get Social Security. I don't know, right? But the average Social Security check is about $2,000 a month, right? That's $24,000 a year. Most of you couldn't even pay your mortgage with that amount. Are y'all with me? Am I tracking? Okay. So in the chat, team, if you could put the link to the Legacy Wealth Builder, I really want to go over everything that comes with this program, right? Like, for some of you, all of you heard our winners who came on tonight talked about, we have skill building sessions. We learn how to analyze and research our mutual funds. I was able to increase my rate of return. You know, my return is up over 40%. Are you guys interested in learning just how they did that? McCole says, I need 7 figures. So in the chat, guys, there's a link in the chat. And I want you guys to follow me over to the enrollment page, right? So it's that if you type that bit.ly link in there, or guys, Team, if we can put HTTPS in front of that so that they can just click on. I am going to share my screen and share exactly what, thanks so much, guys. I love my team. You guys are just rocking. All right, so I'm going to share my screen right now. So can everybody see my screen? This is the enrollment program for the Legacy Wealth Builder. And it is for those of you who are running for your first 7 figures where many people start. Now, you did hear some, you know, our 2 members that were in today, one started in this program. But what I want you to do now, if you're following me, is just click that join button and it's going to share with you everything that comes in the Legacy Wealth Builder program. And it is significant. Okay. So the first thing is your monthly strategic advisory with me. You've heard many of the women make comments, even in our VIP, we had some of our members about how they found out what their personal rate of return was. That's because they go through the curriculum, they begin to learn the language of investing. They see how other women apply the concepts, and then they actually go to the weekly skill building sessions. So every week we have a class on a skill building session on a different topic. Analyzing and researching mutual funds one week, analyzing and researching stocks the next week, financial independence calculator training. That's where you're going to build your 7-figure blueprint. And again, that's different for everyone, depending upon what kind of benefits they have. So we really go deep, deep, deep into that. So you literally, that wrong blueprint you have, we're going to give you the right blueprint. And then we're going to show you how to accelerate your growth. And that's what you're going to learn here. So you're going to learn how to analyze and research those mutual funds. And then you're going to come once a month, I come on and you're going to share your research and analysis. And you're going to say, okay, I found these are the funds where they're not performing at all. And then you're going to learn how to choose higher performing funds based on what kind of an investment program that you're in. So once we analyze and optimize that, then we're going next level, right? We're going next level. You're going to learn how to analyze and research stocks. And if you don't already have a brokerage account, you're going to learn how those works as well and how you could start with something as little as a financial app. In addition to that, you are going to get resources that all different kinds of training that we've had in the past. Plus, you're going to get our Wealth Secrets book, our Wealth Secrets. If you didn't get it in VIP, you're going to get all the tools that you need to really support you through this 12-month program that is designed to download in you the exact thing you need to accelerate your financial growth. So you also get access to all our new trainings. We're always bringing experts in. We're doing different kinds. We're always elevating and innovating. And as a member of WealthyU, when we do these Get Wealthy challenges, our members get to come in at VIP level. Now, just adding it all up, really, we're giving you almost, and I told you about our innovation, our curriculum, everything that we do invest in to run this program the way that we do. You also have a member success advisor. Your ambassador becomes your member success advisors. Very few programs, right, have, I can tell you, I've audited other programs, and basically what they do is they give you a portal, give you recordings and say, have at it. That's not how it works in WealthyU. We're giving you sisterhood, accountability, and support, and that is going on literally every other day of the week. It's happening. And then, so all I want you to know is this, is that you can join, pay monthly for $497 a month. That's 12 payments, or you can pay in full $4,997, right? You're going to get a savings of $1,000 if you decide one of these plans. Now, let's say you say, okay, I'm going to pay the $497. As long as you pay in full by your 6 month, you can still pay the additional and not pay the $1,000. I really want to encourage all of you. If you're having doubts or fears, start with the pay monthly. Okay, start with the pay monthly. Don't be like so many of our members who waited a year or 2 years. But can I be frank with you in the chat? You guys want me to be frank with you? I've done probably 5 WealthyU assessments so far in the past couple of days. And I'm going to be honest. Many of you are out of time, right? Like, there are 2 things that you need to be successful financially. You need the time for that money to grow. All right? You need the time for that money to grow, and you need to increase the return on that investment. And the longer that you wait, the more you have to add to it. So what I want to tell you is simply this, is you have everything you need to be everything you need to be. We really believe in WealthyU. And for those of you who are members in the chat, we literally can change the financial trajectory of your life. If that is true for those of you who are members of you put true in the chat. I mean, literally, you heard Latasha in 6 months, you heard Ashley, and has been with me the longest, but look at all the things that she has been able to accomplish. Not only has she built a portfolio, but she's built quite the real estate portfolio. And the only thing between you and Ashley, all it is she took action. And even when she succumbed to her doubt and fear, she always came back and went to the next level. And what I want you to know is that you can win too. But in order for you to win at wealth, you have to take action. So who's ready to take action in the chat? If you're ready to take action, put action in the chat. Listen, I'm going to throw more fizz in the game. I told you that for those of you who did fast track, one of the things that you are going to receive if you join by midnight is you are still going to be eligible for the fast track bonus. And that fast track bonus means you're going to get our goal getter planner. You're going to get an autographed copy of my book, A Purse of Your Own, that you've heard me talk about. You're going to get an autographed copy of Wealth Secrets. You're going to get a copy of my book, Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth. And you're going to get the stimulus glass, as well as a 1-hour strategy session with me. So for many of the people who are in Legacy Wealth Builder, who you heard them say, yeah, I was on Miss Deb and we analyzed and researched my investments and I was able to make it. Listen, I'm going to give you a runway, right? We're going to compress the amount of time that it's going to take you to accelerate. But guess what? I can't do it for you. But I hope that over these 3 days, that most importantly, you're fired up. How many of you are fired up based on the knowledge that you learned in these past 3 days? If you're fired up and you've gained the insight that you've needed, and this training has been of value, put fired up in the chat. I want to see if you guys are fired up. If you're not fired up, you need to be fired up and ready. That's right, Leslie. Fired up and ready to go. Listen, if you want something different, you got to be willing to do something different. That's right, Tommy. Fired up and ready to go. You have everything you need. You have every resource that you need. That's right, Erica. Fired up and ready to go. The one thing you need, I'm going to tell you that you're missing in your life was the same thing I was missing. And that is right. If you have questions, put it in the chat, right? And that is, I needed to be in the right circle. I was trying to do things all on my own. And it wasn't until I got with other entrepreneurs who had built 7-figure, 8-figure businesses that this business began to grow and expand. But I also had to be willing to invest and continue to elevate and help the members in our community go faster so that they could be models for you. That's right, fired up and ready to go. So the question on the floor right now are, what time are classes offered, in the morning or the evening? Our classes are typically offered at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do that because we have members all over the country. And so for those who are on the West, on Central or Western time or Pacific time, that allows it to be 5:00. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is all of our courses are recorded, and we have our own private Facebook group where all those recordings are, but many of those we're up-leveling, another investment into a portal, so that if you're not Facebook centric, you'll have access to those as well. Any more questions? All right, well, here's what I want you guys to know. I want to leave you with this evening, because I so relate to this. I so relate to this. And I hope you do too.
Fired up, ready to go. 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 I'm Edith S. Childs from Greenwood, South Carolina, and I'm the one that got Barack Obama fired up.
So I just want to close with a story that some of you know, because it shows you the importance of one voice. And it's a story about my first trip to Greenwood.
When I heard that he was coming to Greenwood, I thought, okay, I'm just going to go and welcome him to Greenwood.
Turns out that Greenwood is about an hour and a half from everywhere else.
Well, Greenwood is a little bit out of the way.
So we drive and we drive. Finally, we get to Greenwood. We pull up to a small building.
Right here in this building, the Civic Center.
It's pouring down rain. And my umbrella blows open and I get soaked. I'm mad, I'm wet. Go inside, and lo and behold, after an hour and a half drive, turns out there are 20 people there.
When he first came in the room, he had this grin on his face, like maybe I'm in the wrong place. You know, it was a small group of people.
20 people. And they all look kind of damp and kind of sleepy, like maybe they aren't really excited to be there either.
And looking around at everyone in the room, I knew we had to do something.
Suddenly, I hear this voice cry out behind me, "Fired up!" And I'm shocked.
I know that the senator wasn't sure what was going on because he had that look on his face.
So I look behind me, and there's this small woman. Looks like she just came from church. She got a big church hat. And she's standing there, and she looks at me, she's smiling. And she says,
Fired up, ready to go. I knew we needed to keep singing. Fired up, ready to go.
And so for the next 5 minutes, she proceeds to do this. Fired up. Everybody says fired up and ready to go. And everybody says ready to go. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking, she's stealing my thunder. I look at my staff, they shrug their shoulders. They don't know how long this is going to go. But here's the thing, Virginia. After a minute or so, I'm feeling kind of fired up. I'm feeling like I'm ready to go. So I join in the chant. And it feels good. And for the rest of the day, even after we left Greenwood, I'd see my staff. I'd say, are you fired up? They'd say, we're fired up, boss. Are you ready to go? I'd say, I'm ready to go.
Once you hear it, you will never forget it.
So some people start putting fired up, ready to go on their shirts. Some people start putting fired up, ready to go on signs. Everybody's saying fired up and ready to go. It shows you what one voice can do. One voice can change a room. And if a voice can change a room, it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. And if it can change a state, it can change a nation. And if it can change a nation, it can change the world. Your voice can change the world. So I just got one question for you. Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? Fired up. Ready to go. 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 Let's go change the world.
All right, let's go change the world. Who's ready to become one of the million with a million? Listen, you've got everything you need to be everything you need to be. The only thing standing between you and the financial success that you desire is knowledge. All you have to do is go to that page and make an investment in yourself. And we will promise you that as a team, we're going to be right there beside you every step of the way to show you exactly what you need, all the secrets that really have prevented you from achieving that success. I can't tell you enough how the Legacy Wealth Blueprint that we've created for you is now responsible for helping thousands of women build their first 6 and 7 figures portfolio, and some are running beyond that. And what I want you to know is that if it can happen for them, it can happen for you. But all you have to do is to take action. And so one of the things that I want to do is to invite you, for those of you who still have questions, I am going to invite you to come into our breakout room. Hang on just a second. Our breakout rooms will come on and you'll be asked to join. Ladies, can you guys see a join button? Okay, so listen, if you have questions, join us in the breakout room. If you still would like to know what programs may be a best fit for you, I want to invite all of you to also sign up for a WealthyU assessment a session, so that you can connect with one of our ambassadors. Our ambassadors are Anita Jenkins, Sharice Irons, and Virginia Rutherford Hall. If you have questions, though, about this program, we'll meet you right over in just click the join button to the breakout rooms if you have questions. And I'm so grateful that you guys spent 3 days with us. We had over 100 on most nights, and that means that we were really providing you with the insight and knowledge that you found of value. So appreciate you, all of you. So glad you spent some time with us in WealthyU, and we'll see you over in the breakout rooms if you have questions. And to all of you, I bid a good night, and I thank you for joining us for the 3-day Get Wealthy Challenge. And that's right, Erica says, fired up and ready to go.
And I don't see the join for the breakout room. Let's see.
I don't see the join either.
Yeah, so I'm
See the button that says more at the bottom of your screen? It
I
says
don't have a
more.
more. I don't have a more.
Yeah, there's little dots. If you're on your phone, there are dots.
On the dots. Okay, I'm on my phone.
And it'll say breakout room.
Right.
Okay, let's see.
Probably
Oh,
to the left
over.
of the
Okay.
button that says leave, the red button that says leave, it should be to the left of that.
I don't see it either, and I'm on my iPhone.
You have to scroll all the way over to get the dots, but I don't see the join.
When you click on more,
You got that? Uh-huh.
then you should see join. You'll see a list of the rooms. And I guess you might have to search for your name. I see
Oh,
your name where it says not joined.
okay.
See leave, but I don't see
When
join.
I click on join, when I click on more, I see meeting settings, background effect, and discount audio.
That's what I see. That's all I see.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Okay, so who wants to go to the breakout room? Is that Beverly?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. I just assigned
Got
you.
it.
Do you see? I'm asking you to join. Okay, she's there. Who else wants to go to the breakout room?
Antoinette.
Okay, so hang on. Let me find you. Okay. Does anyone else want to go?
My name is Ali. My phone number comes up as 865 area code 247.
Is that the iPhone?
Yes.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to take you over there.
It came up.
Yeah, I got you. But you need to join. Okay, perfect. Does anyone else want to go to the breakout room?
Right.
Jennifer,
Okay, hang on. Let me assign you. Okay, she's gone. Who else wants to go?
Tamia Jackson.
Get Jackson. Excellent. Let me assign you.
Me.
All right.
Marriott.
Okay. Harriet. Hey, Harriet, it's so good to see you. Okay, I just assigned you. Who else?
Charlotte.
Who is that?
Charlotte Jackson.
Okay. Carla.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. I see Charlie. Okay.
713-983-37.
I can't actually see phone numbers, so let me just see. Who else? No,
Rhonda Henderson Johnson.
okay. Who else?
Dina.
Dina. Okay. Anybody else?
Heather.
Okay, Heather. Excellent. Anybody else?
Deborah.
Deborah Jordan. Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Who else? Okay, I couldn't hear that. Who?
Deborah.
Deborah, I thought I moved you. You're in room 1. Who else?
Okay.
Yeah, that's Deborah. Oh, that's Deborah Irving?
Yes. Hi, Deborah.
Yeah, I got
would like
you.
to go in
Yeah.
also Pauline South.
I got you.
How it just methodically disposes of
Anybody else?
Yeah, me, Deborah, Pauline, Falling South.
Pauline, okay.
Hi, Mama.
Okay. Charlie, did you want to go into the room?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't I see your name? Oh, there you are. Okay. It's not. All right.
You got me.
I got you. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, I'm sorry. The iPhone again. I went to
Okay.
privacy and
Okay,
it messed my camera up. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
no worries. So let me see if I can find you.
I
There
was
you
in
are.
room one.
Yeah, I got you. I'm taking.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
you. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, anybody else? All right. Excellent. So, Sharice, I think that everybody who wants to go to the breakout room is in there.
Okay.
I think both Virginia and Anita are there. So, you could either hang here or I'll let you hang here in the room if you need to. But actually, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're gonna close this site down. We'll be taking Q&A in the other room. Most of you are already WealthyU members, so thank you so much for attending the 3-day Get Wealthy Challenge. I appreciate all of you, and so have a great week.